I'll keep this very brief. You might be thinking, if it's a serious violation, shouldn't the question be, when is it not just cause for dismissal? But recent Court of Appeal decisions suggest otherwise, and that zero tolerance policies might actually be a little bit of tolerance or a lot of tolerance policies. The first case is Plester and Poly 1 Canada. Poly 1 had what it called cardinal rules, one of which was that if you were going to repair a machine, you had to lock it out first, pretty standard. And another one was that if anyone violated the rules, even if it was very minor, they had to report it immediately. Enter Mr. Plester, a 17-year employee, 6 years as a supervisor, very minimal disciplinary record. One afternoon, he's helping out on the line, sees it getting jammed up, becomes very frustrated that no other employees are dealing with it, so just reaches right into the machine to fix it and does not lock out the machine first. 2 other employees witness this and are very disturbed by it. They point it out to him, but he brushes it off, doesn't report it during the shift, doesn't report it overnight. The employees who were so disturbed by this, one reports it overnight, the other one first thing in the morning. Mr. Plester comes to work, he's pacing in the parking lot, hasn't decided what to do. By then, management confronts him, they conduct an investigation, and they dismiss him for his breaches of the cardinal rules. The trial judge agrees that these breaches are very serious and that health and safety matters can't be treated with leniency. Sounds good so far, but then finds that the employer's response was disproportionate, that another employee who breached a cardinal rule did not get dismissed, and awards damages equivalent to a 14-month notice period. The Court of Appeal upholds this decision, saying that Plester didn't harm anyone else or put them at risk and was probably going to report the violation, and really emphasized his long service and lack of discipline record. The only real silver lining in that case is that the Court of Appeal thought the trial judge put too much emphasis on the other employee who wasn't disciplined because the employer didn't even know about that. This is also happening in British Columbia, a case called Chemist Mines, where that employer operated a mining site and, not surprisingly, had a very strict zero tolerance policy on drug use. Mr. Gardner got caught smoking marijuana in his dorm room, was not on duty, but given the zero tolerance policy, he was dismissed. The arbitrator did not apply the zero tolerance policy and instead entered into a disability-based analysis and found that the employer had failed to accommodate him and ordered him suspended without pay for 10 months with strict conditions for his return. The British Columbia Court of Appeal upheld this decision and said that reinstating him would not undermine the zero tolerance policy because a 10-month suspension without pay was still serious and would still deter other employees. So what's the lesson? Health and safety rules are important, they should be enforced, but employers still need to evaluate and assess the individual case, look at things like the seriousness of the violation, any prior disciplinary record, length of service, and whether the employee should be held to a higher standard. Deterrence is important, but employers need to ensure that consequences are applied evenly depending on similar circumstances. So in other words, zero tolerance can't really mean zero tolerance. Thanks.